He's the God of Mischief, the Prince of Asgard, the backup son, the drama major of the Nine Realms. Loki Laufeyson has faked his death more times than most people file taxes. He's betrayed every person who's ever trusted him, twice. And still, somehow, he has fans. Because he's charming, because he's witty, because trauma, but make it flirtatious. But today, we're not getting distracted by cheekbones and sass. Today we ask, was Loki a misunderstood soul-craving love, or just a manipulative shapeshifter with abandonment issues and a god complex? This is the trial of Loki. Let the prosecution begin. Exhibit A, the adoption arc. Let's start at the root. Loki was born a frost giant, abandoned, found, raised by Odin. But was he told the truth? No. He grew up believing he was Asgardian royalty, only to find out he was the frostbitten family secret. So naturally, instead of processing this through therapy, he declared war on his biological people and his adopted one in the same week. Most kids act out by dyeing their hair. Loki tried to commit interdimensional genocide, because nothing says I have daddy issues like using a space cube to rewrite national borders. And Odin, he handled it like every emotionally unavailable dad, with vague speeches, a magical hammer favoritism system, and naps. Loki didn't need discipline, he needed validation, but instead of asking for it like a normal demigod, he lied, staged coups, and emotionally blackmailed his way into attention. He wasn't seeking truth, he was manufacturing drama. Charge 1. World-scale tantrums caused by paternal secrecy and unchecked theatrics. Exhibit B. Asgardian betrayal bingo. Let's do a quick betrayal roll call. Faked his death? Check. Tried to kill Thor? Check. Sided with the Dark Elves? Check. Lied to literally every single member of his family? Check. Faked being Odin for years and ruled Asgard like it was Broadway? Double check. Loki's love language isn't touch or words of affirmation. It's gaslighting with special effects. And let's not forget, he doesn't just betray people, he makes them feel bad for noticing. He'll stab you in the back, then monologue about how you made him do it. And somehow, it works. Because he cries, because he's charming, because he occasionally saves the day at the last possible second, usually after causing the problem in the first place. This is not redemption. This is emotional manipulation with a tiara. Loki doesn't want to be king. He wants to be the victim who also wins, and that makes him extremely dangerous. Charge 2. Repeated high treason via satires and theatrical monologues. Exhibit C, New York, the invasion arc. Let's talk about the time that Loki declared war on Earth because he was having a bad week. He shows up in New York with glowing eyes, a horned helmet, and a space army, ready to enslave humanity like he was headlining Coachella for fascists. This wasn't strategy, this wasn't politics, this was, notice me, Odin Senpai energy with a body count. He used the Mind Stone to brainwash Hawkeye, killed civilians in a museum, gave dramatic villain speeches in 3 languages, and when someone asked him to stop, he threw them out a window and said, "Kneel. Sir, this is Earth, not Tumblr. Let's not pretend this was a dark phase. This was terrorism with eyeliner, and the Avengers, they forgave him so fast. Thor brought him home like, look, he's changed. He didn't. He escaped custody mid-sentence and started scheming again. Loki doesn't regret the invasion. He regrets that it didn't get better lighting. Charge 3. Attempted global enslavement for attention and personal branding. Exhibit D. The multiverse of me. In the Loki series, he gets arrested by the Time Variance Authority because even the multiverse needed a restraining order. And what does he do? He flirts with a female version of himself. Loki fell in love with Loki. Let that sink in. This man is so narcissistic, he looked at his own reflection with boobs and thought, finally, someone who gets me, and then calls it character development. He spends the series bouncing between timelines, backstabbing people, changing teams, and unraveling the literal structure of time, because he was bored. He doesn't care about balance, he doesn't care about the TVA, he just wants control. And when the timeline starts imploding, he blames the bureaucracy, not the fact that he played hopscotch with cosmic stability for 6 episodes straight. Charge 4. Multiversal recklessness motivated by self-love and timeline Tourette's. Exhibit E. The sympathetic villain mask. Loki knows how to cry. On cue, he knows when to pause, when to choke up, when to say, I never wanted this. Right before robbing you again. He weaponizes sympathy. He wants you to see the orphan, the misfit, the misunderstood younger brother, so you forget the war criminal, the liar, the would-be dictator. He's the human equivalent of, I'm sorry you feel that way, but with magic daggers. And every time he gets caught, he pivots into a relatable villain monologue like he's auditioning for The Bachelor, Villains Edition. You know what Loki really wants? Not power, permission to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and still be loved for it. And people fall for it. Every time. Because deep down, we all want to believe that cleverness plus pain equals innocence. But it doesn't. Loki isn't just misunderstood. He is misunderstanding made flesh. Charge 5. Manipulative use of sad eyes to avoid accountability for war crimes. Loki is funny, he's clever, he's stylish, and he is absolutely guilty. He didn't need to rule Asgard, he needed to feel seen, but instead of therapy, he chose conquest. Instead of vulnerability, he chose deception. Instead of healing, he made the world his stage and every person in it a prop for his self-worth. Loki isn't evil in the cartoon sense, he's worse. He's relatable enough that we excuse him. And in doing so, we excuse our own cleverness, our own lies, our own ego trips, because he didn't mean to. But in this courtroom, he didn't mean to isn't a defense. He meant to control. He meant to manipulate. And he meant to walk away from the damage with a smirk and a punchline. No more glamour, no more mischief, just accountability for a god who never learned that love isn't something you steal, it's something you earn. The charges of world-scale tantrums caused by paternal secrecy, betrayal as a love language, attempted planetary takeover for attention, timeline crimes motivated by narcissism, crying handsomely while avoiding responsibility, Loki, prince, villain, victim, narcissist with a Netflix arc. May he rest in peace, because this court sentences him to eternal exile in the mirror dimension of his own BS. And if you think Loki was messy, wait till you meet a billionaire who handles trauma by turning orphans into sidekicks and punching clowns at midnight. The next trial dives into a vigilante who makes emotional repression look heroic. And it's going to make you rethink everything you believed about justice in the Cape. Don't miss it.